was standing high up on a mountain in the clouds. I was two, a male and female version of myself. The male self was of average height with a beard and brown curly hair. I was standing in the female version of myself, occupying a point of perspective. We were both beautiful, our beauty coming from the perfectly average quality of her features, well balanced, an amalgamation of every other possible quality. We were both beautiful, our beauty coming from the perfectly average quality of our features, well balanced, an amalgamation of every other possible feature. Anyway, we were talking to God, myself and God happened to be Pasolini. Pasolini was as warm and welcoming as could be expected, Pasolini was as warm and welcoming as could be expected, which is not very. There was something reptile-like about his manner. He had a computer with him. He signed into his account on Google and used special software, a modification of the image search function, to scan my male face. It checked the data against all the other images that resulted from the search and created an optimized rendering in a program that looked something like AutoCAD in the early 90s. He then printed out the rendering using a 3D printer. To the horror of myself, the result was a mask that looked grotesquely simplified, a cartoon or caricature of what had originated the model. It was made out of this plastic material that was sponge-like and white, without any tangible pores, similar to the touch of hard toothpaste, or those candy bananas I would buy for 5 cents each when I was a kid. Google features regularly in my dreams, and is usually a vast vista or beach made out of the substance. It's very pleasing to stand and sit on. My body's imprint is left when I change location, and slowly squishes back to its original shape after enough time has passed. No trace. Anyway, to the horror of myself, as my male self put on the mask, his face disappeared. Anyway, to the horror of myself, as my male self put on the mask, his face disappeared. He felt a great deal of anxiety. He told himself that rationally there was no cause to worry. He remembered Hito Sterl asking if we weren't merely the draped fabric of the image hanging loosely over nodes of the rail. He remembered Hito Sterl asking if we weren't merely the draped fabric of the image hanging loosely over nodes of the rail. Aren't we God's printout of aggregations of images, points of data, letters, words, stories? So he put on the mask and it became his face, which we both grew quite fond of and eventually comfortable enough in. The little writing I know comes from watching the traders lend each other money. They use these clay sticks called a tally, which help them count and measure debt. They carve notches into the side to remember what amount is owed. Then they break the stick in half when the debt is repaid. The two pieces are reunited with each other. Then they break the stick in half. When the debt is repaid, the two pieces are reunited with each other. It is considered proof against fraud. And when a lender inevitably tries to sue the borrower, the sticks must be shown as evidence. Another device is a clay tablet where marks are carved, indicating how much of one's credit has been used. When someone has used up all their credit, the lender throws the disc to the ground, breaking it in half. I guess that's where the phrase "I'm broke" comes from.